Chapter 5, Drita. When school is over, everywhere there are children and their families rushing to meet each other. I don't know where to look to find my mother, and I start to feel worried. But there waiting for me outside the school is Gishi. It seems so strange to see her there, wearing her old-fashioned robe applique and holding Hashim by the hand. My teacher shakes my hand and says something in English. "Goodbye, Drita. See you tomorrow," she says. "Grandmother, where is Nini?" I ask her because I thought my mother was the one who would be meeting me. My grandmother just shrugs. She is still much too tired from the trip. Come, Drita, take your brother's hand. We must hurry for the bus. Bus? No one said anything about a bus to me. But I follow my grandmother through the doors and across the street. There's a big sign for the place where the bus will stop. "Grandmother," I ask, "are you sure this is the right place to wait?" Yes, now come on," she says, because the big blue and white bus is coming down the street. "But are you sure this is the right one?" I ask her again. "They're all different, you know," I say, trying not to sound worried. Even in Kosovo, my grandmother was not so good at going places by herself. "Oh, zat, Drita, you talk too much," my Gishi says, trying to hold Hashim's hand. But he is moving around too much and won't stay still. "Bad boy," scolds my grandmother. Hashim puts his baby finger in his mouth and begins to cry. Now I know my grandmother must be worried. Usually she is more patient with my brother. We climb up the steps and my grandmother puts some money in the slot, just like in Kosovo. It seems strange to me that even though everything in New York is different, the buses are exactly like the ones in my country. Up, up, my grandmother says, putting Hashim into a seat. My grandmother unfolds a little piece of paper and studies it. The words, 112 Bedford Avenue, are written there in my father's handwriting. Our new home. The bus turns down the street and we pass the market. In the morning, this colorful and noisy place made me happy, but now all I feel is worried. Across from us, there is a lady in a black jacket and a boy, a little older than my brother. They are staring at us. "That lady looks nice, Gishi," I tell her. "We should ask her for help." "She doesn't speak Albanian," my grandmother says. "But if you show her the address, she might know," I say back. "I know a few words. Maybe if she speaks slowly, I will understand." But my grandmother shakes her head. The little boy smiles at us while his Nini looks out the window. From the way he is choosing, I can tell he has a big piece of gum in his mouth. Now, more and more people get on the bus, but these people do not act friendly to us. They have dark faces and clothes. They stare at the floor or read the newspaper. Soon the bus is so crowded. I know my grandmother is lost. At last, the lady grabs her son's hand and they stand up. I am worried that once they get off the bus, no one else will speak with us. But now we are lucky because the nice lady comes over to us. She holds the metal rail and smiles down at us. "Are you people last?" she asks. My silly grandmother is still staring ahead, afraid to speak to an American person. I know it is not nice of me, but even if my grandmother is mad, I don't care. I take the paper from my grandmother's hands and show it to the lady. I try to remember some of the English words my father is teaching me. "Please," I say. "Where is?" The lady looks at the address. "Come," she says, waving her hand. "Follow me." I almost have to pull my grandmother off the bus and down the sidewalk. "What way?" the nice lady says, pointing in one direction. "Go very far." Staring next to her, the little boy blows his bubble. Pop! It goes, and the pink candy is all over his face. If we were not so lost, maybe this boy would be a good friend for Hashim. "Thank you," I say to the lady. Now we begin our walking. First, we walk 10 blocks, then 20. "Oh, Bobo, where is it?" my grandmother says. I think it's very far. "But the sign says Bedford," poor Gishi says, still confused. "Yes, but look, the numbers on the building are different," I tell her. "That means we are far away." Soon Hashim becomes so tired, I have to carry him in my arms. "Zat," my grandmother complains, "my feet are so sore." Because it feels like now we are walking 100 blocks. But then, at last, we see the building that says 112, our home. My grandmother groans going up the stairs. This city is too big for an old woman like me. I think my grandmother is right. This was too much walking for her, and for me too. If only my mother had come to meet me, we wouldn't have had such a bad time. But when we open the door, I see that it is true. My mother is still too tired from the trip. Because she is lying on the bed, just like this morning, wrapped in a blanket, and just like this morning, wrapped in a blanket, and she is fast asleep.